What's up, fight fans? Want to hear how I sound real quick before I get a couple of you joining in? Let me hear how just my audio sounds. Is that loud enough? My sound effects, I had them real low. Yeah. So, what's up? Salud, papi. How you doing, Armando? So, is that loud enough? Let me see. I think that's good. I think that's good. I don't know. I'm trying to find out the right combination every day, man. Well, all right, let's kick this show off right here. Let's little nightcap. Let's see what's going on in the world of boxing right now. Interesting enough, we have a lot of boxing coming up. I was just looking at the schedule while I was getting this show right here started, and coming off that hell of a performance, Anthony Joshua with Francis Ngannou. Now we're gonna have the clash of the Titans. We're gonna have um, Tyson Fury come up against Usyk for undisputed at the heavyweight division. That's gonna be a great fight, and that's gonna be May 18th. Now Tyson Fury is coming into this fight with a lot of criticism, right? Because due to the fact, in part, with the performance that he put up against Francis Ngannou, and then the way that Anthony Joshua just came in and wiped them down, which leads many spectators to believe that Tyson Fury didn't come in on his best, you know. And a lot of us watching that fight, I can agree to that. But I also want to give Francis his credit as well. Styles make fights. It's not my fault that he underestimated him. You know, Francis showed up. Tyson was in the ring too. You know, Tyson has been around the block more than once. He's a heavyweight champion for a reason. Even if he came in out of shape, he should have been able to beat a guy on his debut. So it wasn't all of Tyson. You got to give Francis Ngannou his credit. What happened in the Francis Ngannou fight versus Anthony Joshua is that Anthony Joshua put him in boxing situations and he didn't adapt. He might have walked into Anthony Joshua like when you heard him talk about in the press conference, you know, after the fight, and he said, I was getting ready to apply mine, right? To get mine right when he caught me. When he caught him with that first shot, I don't think was ever recovering. Being the fact, when's the last time you seen Francis Ngannou in any fight stunned like that? He didn't know how to deal with that. The only thing I've ever seen him in a fight was fatigued. So when he came across where that his body wasn't responding because he got too tired and he ended up losing that fight against Miocic, this was in the UFC. You know, he came across that. He's never been knocked out. So for a fighter to deal with something like that, yeah, he didn't know how to grab him to hold. He didn't know could jab and try to keep the distance. He didn't know how to keep Anthony Joshua away from him. Use his legs to buy himself some time. Throw some feints to back him off you, and hit jump back at a safe distance. He didn't know how to do that. He didn't know how to evade and try to buy some time. You know, and not show your opponent that you're hurt at the same time. That's when your best acting comes out in a fight. Sometimes guys can't help it and they laugh. That's a giveaway. Many of us know that as a tale that you're hurt, you know, but guys know this. And in the fight, they don't know why they do it. They still laugh. And they've criticized other men for doing exactly that. And in that moment, they realize why. The great ones had good poker faces. If they was really badly hurt, you couldn't tell. You couldn't tell. He would tell you 10 years later in an interview or something, yo, when he hit me with that shot, I was so hurt. And in the fight, you looking at him, he's like, and inside, he's like, right? His head is rattling, right? But on the outside, the other guy, he had no clue. And that's a great poker face in a fight. Yes, brothers. When you come in, audio's good. Thank you, and hit that like button. Yes. Um, and those are some of the things like I talk about where experience is gonna play its face in the fight, and that's what happened. What you saw there. Now, Tyson Fury and Usyk, these are two highly decorated boxers. Both of them have been around. This is not one of those situations where you're gonna find yourself, where one guy is not more experienced than the other, like Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. A lot of people already know this going into the fight. Although Ryan Garcia possesses skills, he's just not on that championship level just yet, or should I say, we haven't seen him there just yet. Um, you know, Look, he's been in a lot of he's been and worked with different coaches. He's worked with different sparring partners, and it seems to be that leading into one of his fights, there's always something out of his camp. It's not good, and it doesn't give the fans and us the confidence in that fighter. You see, Ryan just he, look, when's when you're going into a fight and you catch yourself saying, "I hope Ryan shows up. I hope Ryan knocks him out. I hope Ryan uses his speed. I hope, I hope." You're doing a lot of hoping here, where that you're not doing that on the other end with Devin Haney. You know what Devin Haney brings to the table. Young Devin Haney has been battle tested. He's been he's fought some of the best fighters. He's cleaned out a division. He beat the man that beat the man that beat the man, and he beat all the men. You see? So you gotta give him credit. You know, he look, when it comes to some of these guys putting together these fights and we criticize them, yo, why didn't you take this fight? You know what I mean? Like Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson was all for a crack at all four of those belts, not once but twice. He said no. What do you mean? You're gonna say no, bro? That's why we go get it. We got into the sport for to win some of these. It's hard enough to win one. You gave me an opportunity to win four? Huh? Bro, I would have fought you in the parking lot for all four of the belts. And the recognition of being that kind of champion? Look, when Floyd Mayweather fought Oscar De La Hoya, he put him through the ringer. He let Oscar De La Hoya pick everything. The one thing that Oscar De La Hoya wanted was his star status. And that was something he couldn't buy. He didn't care about the money. Floyd already had money, right? What he needed was that next level. to take it to the next level because Oscar De La Hoya at that time was still the face of boxing. So he knew if he beat him, he took less money, everything, gave Oscar the A side. Same thing with young Devin Haney. When young Devin Haney went out to Australia to fight George Camboza, bro, he bent over backwards. He let George Camboza get everything, okay? And rumor had it they were paying George Camboza somewhere around the range of $10 million. Just to put it in his perspective, Devin Haney was going to receive 200, I'm sorry, $2.3 million. I believe it was for the first fight, right? When he won all the belts, the sanctioning fees for all four belts were rumored to be tallied to $230,000. You heard that correctly. $230,000 in sanctioning fees for all four belts. That's what he ended up paying. Okay. He only made 2.3. What did he give his corner? What did he give his coach? What did he give the Cub man? What did he pay for the room for the families? How much money did he actually stand to make winning those belts against George Camboza? And then he didn't do it once; he did it twice. And he signed a three-fight deal with Top Rank just to secure the first fight. Talk about daring to be great. Devin Haney said, "Yo, I'll give you three fights. I don't even care what I make on the three fights. But after the three fights are finished, as long as I stand with all four belts and my freedom, and I get to make the decisions after that, bet, bet, real fucking champion, real champion." Ryan Garcia ain't never did no shit like that. He's never even fought for a world title. They put that little, what was it? The little WBC silver around him, and you seen him on, he had it, he was wearing it proud, right? And in the next breath, oh, belts don't mean shit if you can make, listen, and today in today's age, Jake Paul doesn't have a belt and he's making more money than it, but he's a different creature. See, when Ryan Garcia says this about the belts and about the sports, he needs to remind himself, wait a minute, this is the sport I'm in. By not going after the top award in the sport you in, how could you call yourself the GOAT or the king or even tattoo crowns on your back when you never was the king of no division? You didn't rule nothing. For example, you want to see a real king? Right there. There's only one champion in his division currently right now, and that's him. He holds all the gold, all the belts. If you want a shot at a title, all roads lead through him. There isn't four champions in his division. As a matter of fact, right? There are four different champions in Ryan Garcia, and guess what? Ryan ain't one of them. But somehow he's the best thing since sliced bread. Go figure. Go figure. Yo, just before I came back to the sport of boxing, I knew that the sport of boxing was broken. Yeah, I knew this shit was broken. The world was broken, right? So I go out to get a poster, right? And I didn't know these posters was this much money, right? These motherfuckers want like, I think this one costs 100 and something, right? Oh, but it's not paper. This is like an acrylic material. This will last forever. It's like one of the top notch. It's like real good, right? So I go and this one right here is paper. This is like some Amazon shit I done got, right? Okay. But um I go to buy a poster, right? And I go inside the store and I ask the dude, yo, I'm looking for a boxing poster, any legend. I said, let me see what kind of legends you got. Or in particular, maybe if you got him with the belts or whatever, I'll take something like that. He goes, yeah, come this way. We got some boxing posters. He brings me all the way in the back and he opens up the thing and he goes, here you are. And I looked up and you know what the poster was of? Fucking Creed. Creed 3. This nigga had Michael B. Jordan and he was telling me he was a boxer. And I looked at him and I was like, bro, you know this dude's an actor, right? This is a movie. That's not a boxer. He goes, no. He goes, no, he's a boxer. That's what the people believe a boxer is. Yo, I was like, this world is broken. I couldn't believe it. And this was like a legitimate, like, poster store where you go to get like anything. If you want a fucking lifesaver, they'll have one. One of those stores, like a Spencer Gifts. I don't know if you guys got those, right? But it's a big one. It's a real big one. So they got like everything. They got posters for days. That's where I went. That's what he had. Posters of that shit. Bro, I couldn't believe it, man. So, you know, that's sometimes people can be misled, but listen, if you like a guy, you like a guy. If whatever it is that attracted you to that boxer and you believe in him, then support your fighter. That's all I have to say about that. Ryan Garcia, um, a lot of us on the outside looking in, we really don't know what's going on. We really don't know what's going on, but I know what I see. I know I see him on social media saying, no, no, no. I'm going to speak freely today. You can ask me any question you want. And it's just video after video of shit like that, talking about time travel, talking about, and he's like, you can see where that he was like training. It was a day after he was getting his recovery in. He was in the tank. He's doing things right. Okay, so listen. The worstest thing that can happen in this fight, that fucking Ryan Garcia wins, man, to tell you the truth. Because if he wins, right, he has a legitimate claim to saying, that was all cap. I had you all fooled. It will go down as the greatest, like, mind game, misguided communication. And he comes out in, like, monstrous shape. Best case scenario. You know what I'm saying? Whether or not I see that happening, I saw a couple of training videos of him, and Derek James was just coming out of the office, and he was sitting there. He was like kind of like shadow boxing, He wasn't going full steam, so it was something for the camera. It was one of those kind of shadow boxing because when these fighters get the camera put on them, they're going at like minimum speed, and they're showing the basic of the basic of boxing. That's really what they're doing. They're not really out there like showing the other person their game plan or anything or new moves. They just calmly, pom pom pom. That's what you want to do. You don't want to give away anything. Not even when you're doing this light workout, you can still be doing your footwork without you recognizing it. Yeah. You can be giving away the way you're bouncing. You can be giving away. So I tell them to stand still. Just stand still. And the less you give away, the less leading into the fight. So I understand shit like that. You know what I mean? But I didn't expect. But I did notice he was a little chunky. He didn't look like he had like the abs, like he was ripped. No, no. And we're not too far away from the fight right now, guys. We're really not. Like, how long do we have? This is April 20th. We're in March what 16th. Man, listen, there's not a lot of time. Look, on your honest assessment on the outside looking in, how far do you think this fight is gonna go? Do you think it's gonna go 12 rounds? Do you think Devin Haney will win by unanimous decision? Do you think that someone's gonna be stopped in this fight? Do you don't see the fight going 12 rounds? Do you believe that Ryan Garcia could have the ability and the defense to maybe not win the fight, but survive the fight? Where that he can get like a moral victory over Devin Haney by going the 12 rounds with that kind of champion. You know, if he makes it to the final bell with Devin Haney, I would have to admit, no matter how he did it, pulled it off. If Devin Haney can't get him out of there for the men that Devin Haney's been in the shared the ring with, and he can't get Ryan Garcia out of there by 12 rounds, I would have to give a lot of credit to Ryan Garcia at that point. You know, that could be a moral victory, but it would also be a loss on Ryan Garcia's record. The good thing about this fight right here, right? We're talking about two very young men, still both men under 26 years old. There's a possibility that they can meet again. Yeah, in their prime, in their 30s. Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney can meet again in their 30s. You know, when they're both entering their man strength, they're going to physically, their physique and their appearance is going to look different. They're not going to look boyish. They're going to look like full grown men. And we could possibly be seeing this fight later in the future. Ryan could develop into a better fighter. You know, he does possess the ability and the skill. He just has to submit to what it takes to be a boxer. There's no shortcuts. There's no shortcuts. He's gotta like go in it with I don't know shit about boxing. You're the coach. I believe in you. Tell me what to do. That's it. Shut your fucking mouth, right? And do exactly what they tell you to do and just do it at a high pace. That's what Ryan has to do. And maybe, you know, if he grows up a little bit in that point, he doesn't give up on the sport. You know, sometimes some of these fighters can be real divas, can't they? A loss of put them in hibernation for 2 years. I had to go find myself, find out who I was as a boxer. Some bullshit, wasting the best years of their lives. And then they got to fight late in their career because they're broke. You know what I mean? It's some bullshit. Like, some of these guys really need to pay attention to the amount of time you have in boxing and how valuable every day and every fight is, to take every moment seriously, not to miss weights, to stay disciplined, stay on your diet. Tell yourself, I'm not going out, I'm going home, you know? And teach yourself not to fall for small things. You know, you go out and you tell simple lies. You don't know, just teaching yourself to be a better liar, you know, shit like that. And when you have a dishonest heart, it makes you do dishonest things. But when you think clearly and you're focused, and you know, it's another thing that your family and your supporters are behind you. It's better when it's like that. It's harder when you're fighting at home, you're not getting along with your team. They see one way, you see another way. Those are, you know, those are nightmare situations. You know, you want everything to flow, you know, and it's hard to get there. It's hard to find a woman that would support a boxer and to understand him, you know, and you know, it's just hard to juggle a lot of things. And when you get that, don't get to the big show and throw it all away. Nah, man, you already got all of that. You're a very rich man if you got that already. The wealth and the money, listen, it's all an illusion. If you can secure your legacy and have your friends and family back you up, and no matter how your career ends up support you at the end of your career, while you're in your career, through the good times and the bad times, you're a rich man. You're a rich man. You can end the rest of your career and enjoy the fruits of your labor with your family, and look to reinvent yourself, perhaps go back into the sport of boxing and broadcast and things like that, of those natures. Speaking of which, Gabe Flores is coming into a card, right? And the announcer there is the one and only Hall of Famer, Donito Donaire. He will be commentating, on that fight. So I could see he's starting to put his hat towards that future. So when he does hang up his gloves, he has something to, because a lot of these fighters just can't walk away, to a man in any sport or woman. It's truly like an addiction. Oh, yes, it is. To walk away from the sport, oh, it's hard. You know, some do it for the bright lights. Some do it because they just love it. Others do it because, someone tells them you can do it, or everybody has their own reason. But it seems like all the legends come back to the sport. I thought Michael was done with. We don't even want to talk about the years he was in with the Wizards. They don't talk about that shit. Nah, they don't talk about that shit. You know, um, there's a lot of men that just can't walk away. Ali just stood in way too long. He look at Mayweather. He's one of the smartest ones. He figured out a way to stay in it without jeopardizing what he built. Exhibition. Can you say exhibition? Very smart man. I got to give it to him. Very smart man. Because no matter what happens in that ring on that night against that man, if you happen to knock him out, yeah, the world will acknowledge you as the man that finally knocked him out, but it will never affect his boxing record and in the Hall of Fame. No, no. He will already go down. He has cemented that, and he will do everything to protect that. He's not going to put that on the line. Listen, in fact, Manny Pacquiao has a fight scheduled. Look, there's a lot of boxing matches scheduled coming up. You know, um, Frank Warren, Queensberry, March 16th. Okay, yeah, that's TNT Sports. Okay, now wait. Oscar De La Hoya got March 16th. Golden Boy Promotion. William Zabata versus Max Hughes. Excuse me, sorry. And that's March 16th. Oh my God, I need some water. Dry mouth, dry mouth. Uh, Man, Ed Hearns is everywhere. Ed Hearns got a show coming out in the UK on the 23rd. That's March. Amazon. Oh, Bob Aaron, Top Rank, Sky Sports, Oscar Valdez. He's going to be fighting March 29th. Al Heyman, PBC. We got Tim Zoo versus Keith Thurman. That'll be March 30th. Rolly, Isa Pitbull Cruz are on the undercard. Um, and that's for their title at the WBA Super Light World title. Oscar De La Hoya also got a match in California on March 30th. Where's this? I know I seen it. I know I seen it. It's here somewhere. It's definitely here. I couldn't believe it. I had to like triple check it. April 6th, Ed Hearn. April 13th, Ed Hearn. Ed Hearn is everywhere, man. This man, I'm telling you, he's everywhere. Top Rank got something April 13th in Texas going on. New York City. Yeah, that's the Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, Oscar De La Hoya. Um, there you go. And Bangkok, um, promoted by TBC. It's non-confirmed though. It's Manny Pacquiao. It says exhibition. Yeah, and it's supposed to be for April 20th. Yeah. So on the bottom, it does say non-confirmed on the U.S. networks, but that the fight itself is scheduled. So they don't know what networks are gonna push it out, because where I'm seeing the non-confirms at on the top of the match where it says for example, April 20th, New York City, Oscar De La Hoya, Golden Boy, and it says the zone pay-per-view, right where the who's hosting the event. So under Manny Pacquiao, it has um nobody's confirmed what, yeah, who's broadcasting it. It's probably gonna go on a purse bid or something. Yeah, but his old ass can't walk away from the damn sport. That's what the hell I mean. Shit like that, you know. But it is an exhibition. This, other fighters are starting to take a page out of his book, and they're starting to realize, um, that's interesting, because I'm really trying to find out if this fight will count for Mike Tyson and his record against Jake Paul's. Because I know that Jake Paul is trying to move up the ranking in the WBC ranking. So no matter if he's fighting a cab driver or not, if he fights and he wins, he's gonna move. He's got to start fighting people that are ranking, because these motherfuckers are snakes, man. One day we're gonna tune into one of his fights, and he's automatically be ranked number fucking 4 or something. Watch. Watch. It's gonna be ridiculous. Yeah, because that you can do shit like that in boxing and get away with it. Yes, you can. And nobody will blink an eye. Yeah. You can do shit like that. What up, Rob? Playback, what's up? Bruce, what's up? So these are a lot of some of the big fights that are coming up. Um there were a few more other fights too I wanted to talk about. Other opponents are still coming up, and for the Subriel Matias. As you can see, every day a new fighter seems to emerge, doesn't it? Like, no, this is the guy. No, this is the guy. Wow, for people saying that they n- they're saying, oh, he's not the boogeyman of the division. No one's scared to fight him. But it seems like every time they announce, they're like, yo, get that guy from underneath the bed, bro. Yo, we just commented and said your name, you know? And then they like moving on to another name. They really are. And then they're saying like he's not feared. Like he ain't shit. You know what I mean? Oh no, he's a problem. And Supriya Matias right now, Supriya Matias right now is really showing that he is a force to be reckoned with. And I believe once Devin Haney gets out of this little Ryan Garcia thing, right? And at the same time, we're gonna get um Rolly and Isa Pitbull Cruz, which that's important, okay? Because once they get out of that, now the people that are looking around are the champions, right? Okay. Now I understand that the champions do not have to fight each other. The way they get the champions to fight each other is, your promotional makes them an offer he probably never made, and that would entice a champion to fight you. But sometimes the champion can opt the other way. He can say, you know what, that fight's too risky. I'm gonna take the easier road, and I'm gonna stand to stay champion. I can go fight this guy, this tomato can. I can beat him, and I will be champion longer. You've seen many fighters do it. Saul Canelo Alvarez is being criticized for those particular things. So a champion doesn't have to fight him. Okay, The only way you can force a champion if you have the WBO and if you're his mandatory and you're the number one contender in that division. You see, a champion also, like let's suppose you have the WBO and you're already the WBO champion. You cannot fight for a vacant WBC world title. You can't. You're already a champion. You have to allow someone else to the opportunity to win that belt. Then you could ask to fight him. But you can't fight for a vacant belt. You're a champion. What kind of fucking rules are those? You mean champions could just, hey, that belt is vacant. I'm going for that belt. Nah, you can't do that in the sport of boxing. Those were one of the rules that were established a long time ago, right? But what do? Listen, if they boxing has you in mind and they're pushing you up, the blind eye will be, as you can see. Vasil Hightech Lomachenko um, got his fourth fight for a champion to become a champion, and he fought for a vacant title. No, 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 my bad. He lost first at the second fight. They gave him a shot at like at the WBA. Yeah, he was already a champion. Um, he had moved up in weight. He had got a belt. When he got that belt, he fought. Then he went and fought for that vacant WBC. That's how it went. Yeah, and I was like tripping. I was like, how the fuck is he fighting for a WBC world title? You can't do that. But and how the fuck is Canelo Alvarez not fighting David Benavidez when he's been his mandatory for over 5 years? Why do you have a mandatory rule for? Why do you have a number one contender if you're just doing whatever the fuck you want? You're taking your own rules and you're saying that, you know, whenever it's convenient for you, you'll apply the rules. That's just like you ever have an appointment and you're 15 minutes late to the appointment and the people at the office or the appointment, they want to hold you to that. No, can you step at the back of the line? We'll call you. You were sorry, you were 15 minutes late, right? Okay. Same appointment, same office. You get there on time, they're late. Do they go to the back of the line? Do they get any punishment? No. He just says, "Oh, excuse me, I was 15 minutes late," and sits down, right? Bro, you get scrutinized for not being on time. But let them sometimes same situation. They abuse their power. They abuse their power, bro. The WBC and the rest of those sanctioning bodies should have forced Saul Canelo's hand for that. You know, this is the sport of boxing, isn't it? Isn't it a gladiator sport? You're going to claim to be the best, you're going to claim to be the king. Well, then you need to do some king shit. You can't get to sit on your throne, get fat, and say, I'm the king. Somebody's going to come dethrone you. They're gonna invade the castle. You better be ready. Yo, they've been invading Saul Canelo's castle. I the WBC got a force field around the motherfucker. He just can't get in. Shit. The irony. But look, a lot of rumors are going around with David Benavidez, and once again, you know, I think he should just move up to 175 and forget about Saul Canelo Alvarez. I think that Saul Canelo Alvarez has it talked out with Terrence Crawford behind the scenes. I really do. When Terrence Crawford did that move, there's a lot riding on this. Why did he just jump over the 154? There was opportunity and real possibility of him at least unifying two of the belts. And what if one man gets another two? Oops, opportunity on his way out. He can. If within 2.5 years, he'll be around 37, going on 38. Never know, man. Never know. He could probably pull it off, right? But no. So what I see is he has 2 more years in the game, Terrence Crawford, and that's 2 fights. Acclimate yourself at 160, then fight Saul Canelo Alvarez. Saul Canelo Alvarez fights one more tomato can, and then fights Terrence Crawford. And on that night, they both hang it up. They retire and walk out into the sunset. Yeah, I don't know. And ironically, Saul Canelo Alvarez is a lot younger than Terrence Crawford. Saul Canelo Alvarez is only 33. He might not walk, but he's got a lot of wear and tear. He's got a lot of battles under his belt. So although he is young, he does have the kind of wear and tear of like a much older fighter. Yeah, he does. So it would probably suit him to retire when he fights Terrence Crawford. Win, lose, or draw. Just he's got enough money. That Terrence Crawford fight will probably put him over the hump. You know, he. I'm pretty sure him and his family would be good for the rest of their lives, and just walk away. You know, you never know when those injuries that you sustain inside of a boxing ring are later going to plague you in your life. No one can answer that question for you. You know, and if they could, would you want them to tell you? I think that would drive you even more crazy, even more towards it, and believing what they're telling you. Had you not known it, you don't know what's going on. You were just going to try to act normal, right? So I don't guess I wouldn't want to know because it's going to happen regardless. If they could have stopped it, they would have helped out thousands. It's everyone's different. Everyone's different. Some people take less damage and are affected more. Yes. Some people took more damage and seem to be okay for the most part. For the amount of damage those guys took, man, they're talking and looking pretty good. You could see it. You could see it in their speech and a little bit, but everything's working. You can tell. And the other day I was watching on a YouTube video and I was speaking to one of my subscribers about this, and I heard Hitman Hearns, and that was just ooh, that was an eye opener. And those are the kind of things that you never know. So when Saul Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Crawford fight, it might be one of those moments that you have no more to prove. What else would you want them to prove at that age anyway? you know? So, I mean, a bigger fight, turn around and fight David the Monster Benavidez? I don't know because that's a young puppy right there too. Remember how old he is? These guys are fairly young, so yeah, I think that's looks like more the logical solution, and that's what I see happening in the near future between Saul Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Crawford. And I think behind the scenes they've already negotiated this, they've already talked about this, and if that's the plan, then Saul Canelo Alvarez is definitely not going to take a fight where that it's a risky fight, in like a 50-50 fight. He's not going to put himself in position. And the matchmakers and Saul Canelo Alvarez's team knows how to pick, you know, the nice little cherries, you know. I really believe that Demetrius Bivol was really underlooked. He was a very terribly unknown household name until Saul Canelo Alvarez fought him. I didn't really know anything about Demetrius Bivol, and I believe I've never actually watched him boxed before he got into the ring with Saul Canelo Alvarez. I remember on that night they were like, he's fighting this guy. This is a few years back too. So, and I was just like, who the hell is he fighting? I remember saying that. So, um, yeah. I mean, now we all know who Demetrius Bivol is, but on his last performance, um, you know, if you ask me, he should have knocked that guy out. Yeah, he should have knocked that. And if I was using a measuring stick, right? and I was judging both these men on fighting the IBO champion there, right? Demetrius Bivol got shot to the body in that fight, and he didn't finish him off, right? Okay. Do I believe that Arthur Benavidez would finish that guy? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Arthur Benavidez would have knocked that dude out. Hell yeah. And if I believe that, and that's why I questioned, wait a minute. And I started to really look at that fight with Saul Canelo Alvarez, and I started to, implement everything that was there right in front of my face. Wait a minute, Saul Canelo Alvarez was the smaller guy. He was the guy moving up in weight. He was the guy challenging himself, you know. Um, and Demetrius Bivol in that ring that night was the bigger guy, and Saul looked slower. He didn't. He looked like he maxed out, and that's the only way for a fighter to find that out is to actually go out there and do it. So kudos to Saul Canelo Alvarez on that night, daring to be great, because what he was trying to do was become another division's world champion. You know, but he came up short. He came up short on that night. Um, it's tough to please the masses at the end of your career when you've already given so much, like a fighter like Saul Canelo, 60 fucking fights. Are you kidding me? I talked about this and I was like, man, how much blood does he have to give to the fans, Um, and I gave an answer to that too as well, right? Look, you could have gave us all the blood that we needed. And as fans, I believe his fans would have supported him. Okay. But in this sport, when you're claiming to be the best and you're holding up divisions, look, if you're not that guy anymore, he could have fought good opponents and his fans would have supported him. And, he could have gave an opportunity to the other guys coming up. Saul has to know and remember what it was like coming up and wanting your shot and your opportunity. He had to remember those moments and those feelings, you know, and how many pissed off people he has right now just chasing this one dude. And the controversy about the way how he got there, in fact, you know, um, it was, it's, you don't want those kind of things attached to your legacy when it's all said and done as a champion. I understand in the Hall of Fame, it's not going to explain his story about how he dug this guy or how everyone felt. All they're going to put in the Hall of Fame are his stats, his wins, how long he had the belts, what belts he had. That's all it's going to say, and it's going to be up to interpretation of how you feel he ranks amongst Mexican champions. I believe he will not go down as the greatest Mexican champion. No fucking way. There are just too many well decorated Mexican champions that fought the best of the best at the time that had to offer, that cleaned out divisions, that were just superior, real tough men. You said this guy was the next, then put him in the ring with me. I'm talking those kind of guys. And it's hard to keep that kind of streak when you're aging in the sport of boxing and you start to realize that you might have lost a step or two. It's hard. That's a hard pill to swallow for a man. I remember as a young man, it seemed like it happened overnight. One day I go to dribble a ball and go to stand. I'm like, what the hell is that? Why the hell my leg didn't move? Why the hell I only got a 2-inch vertical? What the hell is going on here? You know what I mean? And you start to realize, yo, you got to get back in shape, you know? Um, so, it's tough for a boxer to recognize and to accept some of these things. And it must even be tougher because I've never been in a situation like Saul where that's happening to you and you're still on top. Fuck. Like, what? I still got all the belts and I'm slipping? Ha ha! Ha ha! You know what I mean? Fuck all y'all. Yeah. Listen, if you were in Saul Canelo Alvarez's situation, what would you do? And it'd be easy to say some tough shit or to type some tough shit, but the truth is, you're not going to want to give all that up. The minute you lose, you're no longer the champion. Come on. As long as you hold all those belts, no matter where you walk in the world, hello, champ. I mean, you could lose the belt, they're going to call you champ anyway, right? But ain't nothing like a current champion, ain't it? Come on, man. Living in the moment. Once it's gone, it's gone. Saul Canelo Alvarez understands that. Enjoy every day with all those fucking belts. You know, and in that view, in that sense, I'm just like, fuck, yeah, I might have done the same shit. Once it's over, it's gone, man. You'll never get it back. It's not easy to just be like, yeah, you know what? I got 60 professional fights. I've been fighting all the top guys. Well, look at the next young guy. Oh, you want a shot at my crown and my four belts? Why not? You know what? You're deserving. You should have everything I have. In fact, move in my house. Here's my wife. There's my dog. Take it all. Get out of here. You ain't gonna want to get called, man. You're gonna be like, they're gonna be like, look at the next thing, and you're gonna look at it and you're gonna go, dang, he reminds me of myself, but even a little slightly better. You're not saying this out loud, and you're like, yeah, he wants to fight you. And what was the other guy's name you had? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, listen, I want to fight that guy. Right. Because you're gonna get criticized. It's just that's how it is. That's how it is. You know what I mean, guys? But listen, guys, man, I love chopping it up with you guys. If you guys have any questions, let's see here. Same stuff. Um, one more thing, right? Tank Davis right now is scheduled to fight Frank the Ghost Martin at 135 pounds, and Vasily and Camboza are also fighting for one of those titles at the 135 pounds. Shakur Stevenson has another belt there, right? Okay, now, um, in out of those three guys, who would you like? This is what I wanted to ask. Who would you like to see them fight? Who would you like after, Vasily and George Camboza finish off? Whoever wins out of that match, who would you like to see the winner fight? Who? The winner out of Frank and um, Tank Davis and Frank Martin? Or should one of them fight Shakur Stevenson? Or do you think Shakur Stevenson would fight the winner out of Tank Davis and Frank Martin down the road? Down the road, because he's going to have a fight. I believe Shakur Stevenson's going to have a fight in this year, but I don't think it's going to be any of those guys. So I just wanted, that was a question I wanted to ask and I wanted to put out there. Who would you guys want to see when the smoke clears after these fights? And where do you see the division now, the 135, since Devin Haney left it? Okay, so now that Devin Haney's the 140-pound WBC champion, all the belts are being scattered around the 135. Tank Davis is technically still there, the WBA champion. Do you think at this is his opportunity? He should stay there and try to unify all the belts? Do you think Shakur Stevenson will fight him? That I want to, so for the next video, I'm going to check the messages, and if you want, leave me a message in the message box, and I want to see your reactions. So, all right, fight fans, love you. That's all I got for you tonight. Please give the videos a like if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel, and like always, I'm on to the next video after this video here at Round One Sports Talk, and click that bell notification icon so that you can get my videos and know when I'm uploading a video. All right, peace.